Okay, hello student. So last lesson we talked about the temperature and the rainfall pattern in our global pattern. So just a very quick revision. So last lesson we talked about why there are the rainfall patterns, why they are different in different places. Okay, so first of all, quick revision for the places that are near the equator is because they got a higher temperature. That means they will favor the evaporation. So that means more evaporation and form more clouds, and then it will have more rainfall. So at a contrast, okay, on the contrast, at the higher latitude in the pole area, because they have a low temperature. Okay, let me turn the laser first, sorry. Okay, so they have a low temperature. That means they are not good for, so unfavors the evaporation. That means less cloud and less rainfall. And in the inland area, because they are away from the sea, so the wind cannot bring those moisture to the inland area. So again, they got a lower moisture and not very much amount of the clouds and less rainfall. So talking about other places, so some other factors, okay, actually affects the rainfall pattern, such as the air pressures, the winds, the ocean currents, and the relief. But if you want to know more about this, okay, in grade 7 we don't discuss much in these factors, but we will mention it in the senior grade. So if you have interest, then you can study geography in grade 10. So quick revision for last lesson's content. Temperature pattern. Our temperature decreases with increasing latitude. Okay, that means away from the equator, the annual temperature will be lower. And for the rainfall pattern, the rainfall is unevenly distributed over the world. So just now we have to do a quick revision that especially in the desert, in the inland area, and in the high latitude places, they got a lower rainfall. Okay, it's dry. And in this lesson, we will talk about some major climatic zones in the world, which is very important. Okay, to you, I think it's a bit challenging because it's quite difficult for you to memorize all the zones. But remember, you need to know, okay, you need to know how to identify different climatic zones because it might appear in your exam. Okay, so put a star on these 2 pages. So basically, there are 6 major climatic zones in the world. And how do we categorize different places into different climatic zones? It's based on their temperature and their rainfall characteristics. Okay, so we learn about the temperature and rainfall characteristics. So from this map on page 10, so you got it too. First of all, we'll talk about the tropical climate. Okay, the tropical climate, 熱帶氣候啦。Okay, 熱帶氣候。So, what does it mean by a tropical climate? So, Singapore, 新加坡, is an example of the places that having the tropical climate. That means you can see from this climatic graph, they have a hot temperature. Okay, they are hot throughout the year and all year round. It's over 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, at the same time, they have a lot of rainfall too. So they are hot and wet all year round. Because you can see, actually Singapore is located very near to the equator. That's why the temperature and rainfall is high. And this type of the climate, we call it as the tropical climate. And also on page 9, you can see another climate that is called the temperate climate. 一個嘅溫帶氣候啦。So what does it mean by the temperate climate? So on the map, you can see in Argentina, the Buenos Aires. Okay, I'm not sure the pronunciation because probably it's Spanish, 西班牙文. So you could check it in the how to read on the dictionary. But anyways, it is a place in Argentina. So if yes, so you could search for its Chinese meaning if you want. Okay, so for temperate climate, so here this place in Argentina, it got, okay, you can see the temperate climate in winter time and summertime. So be careful because this place is located at the southern hemisphere. Okay, 喺南半球. So their summer and winter is the opposite of us. of our summer and winter. Their summertime is in December, okay, and January to February. However, their winter is in our summertime, okay, between like May to August to September. Okay, so later on I will show you a video telling you why the northern and southern hemisphere they will got the summer and winter in an opposite time. Okay, but before that, so let's continue to talk about the temperate climate first. So you can see from this climatic chart, okay, in their summertime, which is in December, okay, to February, they got a mild summer. Okay, even in summer you can see, okay, the temperatures is around 25, okay, lower than 25 degrees Celsius. However, in the winter, okay, that is from I think some late May to early September, or in July to August, in June to August. So this is around only like 10 degrees Celsius. So it's a cold winter, and they got a mild summer. Mild summer means not very hot. So as you could see, their Christmas time, that means in December, actually they are having a summertime. You could see the Santa Claus, okay, the people celebrating the Christmas in a very hot weather. All right. So just now I tell you about we got different seasons on the earth, right? So why we will have the opposite seasons? Okay, we are in the northern hemisphere, then 北半球啦。So why the southern hemisphere 南半球會同我哋嘅季節會相反呢？ So let's watch this video to know more about the different seasons, okay, in the world. So here in the corner, you can see about the month.
The sun, right? And that it takes a full year for our planet to complete its orbit. Earth also rotates like a slightly tilted spinning top. Earth remains tilted in the same direction all year round as we orbit the sun. But that means the sun's light shines differently on Earth at different times of the year. Let's look at Earth when it's winter in the northern hemisphere. Observe how the North Pole tips away from the sun. This means that sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere at a shallow angle for a short period of time. This is why winter weather is generally cool, with short days and long days.
So this is we are at the northern hemisphere. So in our winter, that means it's also January. It's cool.
As Earth orbits the sun, we move towards spring in the northern hemisphere.
Okay, in March is our springtime.
Is tilted neither toward nor away from the sun, as day and night are about equal in length. As we make our way to the summer months, notice that Earth is still tilted in the same direction, only now on the other side of our orbit. The North Pole is tipping toward the sun. Sunlight strikes the northern hemisphere more directly, and the sun stays in the sky for a longer time. Compared to winter, summer days are warmer, and the sun stays in the sky much longer.
So in July we got hot weather as a summertime, okay?
It's winter in the southern hemisphere. Because of Earth's tilt, the seasons are reversed. We observed how Earth's tilt creates the different seasons throughout the year. How does this affect life? Plant life and other photosynthesizers, we call them primary producers, depend on sunlight. They respond to the changes in the seasons. Earth-orbiting satellites measure the amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by these primary producers. Bright regions on this map show where they devour the most carbon dioxide, turning light from the sun into oxygen and natural sugars. In spring, when sunshine strikes the cold waters of the North Pacific, productivity skyrockets. Phytoplankton and other microscopic photosynthesizers form the base of the ocean food web, and all ocean life responds to changes in the seasons. On land, forests grow green during the spring, brightening the continents. During winter, continents in this view turn dark from lack of photosynthesis.
Okay, so after watching this video, now you will know why in the southern hemisphere that they have warm, in December time, why they are having the summertime. Okay, so it's opposite to us because we are in the northern hemisphere. So let's continue on page 11. So please turn your book to page 11. So for other climates, okay, because in just now on page 10 we mentioned about the tropical climate and also the temperate climate. However, there are still more climatic zones in the world. So we are going to talk about the polar climate. So can you think, okay, related to polar, this word, you know, polar bear, right, in the poles area, okay, POLE. Okay, so you could imagine in those areas, what does the climate look like in those areas with the polar climate? Okay, so I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I guess you know about it too, because it's polar area. Okay, so where the polar bear is living, then it's of course very cold. So apart from the North Pole or the South Pole that you know, so one place in Canada is called Churchill. So in Chinese it's called Yao. So you could find Chinese meaning on page 10 at the bottom. So in Canada, Churchill, this place, so it is actually an example of the polar climate. So how does the polar climate looks like? From this climatic chart, you could see the highest temperature or in this place is only slightly above 10, okay, around I think it's 10, 11 or 12, all right, in the summertime, in the August and July. So it could reach the temperature of negative 25 or 26 degrees Celsius, and so you could see the temperature line in all year is very cold. And at the same time, you could pay attention to its rainfall amount. So the highest rainfall is not greater than 100. So it's even most of the months is the monthly rainfall is less than 50 mm. So you could see actually in the places with the polar climate, they are cold and dry throughout the whole year. Okay, so very low temperature. So because of the time, so I won't show you much about the video, but I can like show you parts of the video about the places in Churchill, so you can have more understanding of this place. Maybe okay.
Sheets of ice stretching as far as the eye can see.
So you can see
in the great
here is
north
the places in Churchill, okay, where polar
Several
bear
still
could be
roaming
found.
around,
Polar
waiting
bear,
for the
okay.
ice to freeze. You can drive for hours or even.
So fast forward a bit.
It's a curious and self-assured animal.
Is extremely developed. In recent years, a new tourism industry has formed. People now flock from all over the world.
So you can
And
see
if they
the
mostly come to steal food,
places that the
danger
people
for the
live,
bay.
okay,
Going along these doesn't mean
very
they're not there.
This man is feeding his dogs outside, despite being surrounded by 3 curious and feral.
so here you
town
can
in the
see,
world
okay, the
that's
places
located
that the
on a
people
polar bear
live,
migration.
okay, in Churchill. So you got more understanding about the place, okay, about the polar climate. So let's move to another climate that is called the Mediterranean climate. Okay, you can read it with me at home. Mediterranean climate. That means 地中海氣候. So what is the characteristics of this Mediterranean climate? So you can see from this climatic chart, okay, climatic graph. And you can see this is an example of the place that is in Lisbon in Portugal.喺葡萄牙嘅里斯本啦 ，okay, is very famous places for the people to go for traveling. You could see, okay, because Lisbon is also at the northern hemisphere, okay, 都係同我哋一樣，都係喺南半球啦。So the summertime is also in the same as us, okay, in from June, late May to early September. You can see that summertime, the rainfall is really low, okay, lower than, okay, I think lower than 40 mm, okay, in this few months. Each month lower than 40 mm. So you could see they have a dry summer. But at the same time, you can see their winter time, they got around 100 mm rainfall in the winter months, in each of the winter months. So you can see the Mediterranean climate, it means they got a rainy winter and a hot and a dry summer. Okay, it's a mild rainy, okay, mild rainy, not a big rainfall like Hong Kong, okay, but in their winter time they have mild rainfall, okay, mild rainy winter. But summer, you can see the temperature is over 20, okay, it's quite hot, so hot and dry summertime. So Mediterranean climate, Mediterranean, okay, so remember this word. And I think you have some knowledge about maybe Lisbon, okay, Pau tart la, the Portugal tart is very famous, and Lisbon is also a very pretty city. So in here, okay, I just show you quickly. If you have interest, if you have interest, you can search it in YouTube, or maybe some students you are not in Hong Kong, I mean in China, and you may not be able to search on YouTube, but you could search it in the video, okay, in other websites.
Golden beaches. Portugal has a multitude of experiences to share.
So very
It's a
quickly,
fascinating blend of old and new. Outside the cities, Portugal's beauty unfolds in all its startling variety.
okay, let me,
You'll find dolphin watching in the lush Sado estuary.
okay, you
Memorable
don't
points of
have
icons all over
to
the country.
know, okay,
It'll be hard to
what's
dream up some more romantic
she
places.
saying.
Countless baroque churches, epic theatres and sprawling plazas. You can explore the historic
So I just show you like some pictures, I mean the situation in these places, okay. So she explaining some different events, okay, in different parts of the Portugal place. So actually it's not only mentioning about the Lisbon, but it's also mentioned about Portugal. But at the beginning here, okay, this is actually a very famous landmark in Lisbon. So if you have more interest, you could search it on YouTube by your own, all right? So again, this is like telling you some features in Portugal, okay, but because I can't search for the videos to show you about the place like the Lisbon climate. So if you have the chance, you can go there to experience yourself, or you can search another video. So this video just showing you some like Portugal, introducing you about Portugal, and in this part only some other places in Portugal is mentioned too, okay, but majorly in our topic you only have to know the Lisbon. Lisbon is having the Mediterranean climate, is fine. This is just for some extra information to learn about Portugal, okay, not Lisbon. So part of Lisbon and more about Portugal. Okay, so just for your information, not including the exam, okay, for this video. Then let's move on to talk about another climate, that is the arid climate. So from the word you can guess, okay, 乾旱氣候, you can guess in this area, okay, they are actually having the arid climate. That means they are having a very dry climate throughout the whole year. So you could see the rainfall is lower than 50 mm, okay, for each month they have very low rainfall. So arid climate means they have a dry climate throughout the year. And the example here your book shows you is the Alice Springs in Australia. That is 外麗思泉啦，外麗思泉. Okay, so no matter in what season, they got a dry air, dry climate. because of the time, okay, maybe let me see, because in geography I don't want you to only learn about the content, but sometimes if we got the chances to mention about some places, then I will show you about the video. Okay, so we just watch part of the video. Okay, I will skip and then let you know, just having a picture of this place, Alice Springs.
Isolated town is in the middle of everywhere. It's an oasis in a landscape that is a forgiving benediction of light and shadow, so stunning it precipitates nothing less than awe.
Okay, so you can see, okay, there. So this video introduced about like the places, okay, the Alice Springs. So if you have interest, you could watch it and search it, okay, on either YouTube or other website. Okay, because of the time, so we have to continue to talk about the climate. So for the last climate that we have to mention and we have to know is about the mountain climate, 高山氣候啦. So you can imagine if you are at the top of a very tall hill or a tall mountain, a high mountain, you will think that it's really cold. So mountain climate is for describing those places that having a cold air for the whole year. So you could see this here, the Lhasa in China, okay, Lhasa 咁喺西藏嗰度啦. You could see the temperature is cold all year round. In the summertime, it's only about 15 to 16 degrees Celsius, but in the winter time, it could be lower than 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, so for example, in the Himalayas, okay, 喜馬拉雅山啦, so 呢一個嘅珠穆朗瑪峰啦. So it's a very famous place. So this is taken by our another teacher, okay, teacher Amanda. So I think she have been to there. Okay, so as you have learned, okay, we got 6 different types of the climate, and some of them looks alike. So let's see what are the difference of this and the polar climate. Okay, if you see, okay, if you check out again, compare the climate of the mountain climate and polar climate, you can see first of all the polar climate is much more like colder, and in polar area, okay, is dry throughout the year. Okay, the rainfall is not as much as the mountain climate. So so if you have interest, you could see about the tourism promotion in Lhasa, okay? Because of the time, I won't show you much of this. So if you have interested, you can go and search it by yourself. So I would like to tell you about some difference between some very similar climate. For example, arid climate, the polar climate, and the mountain climate. So for arid climate and polar climate, both of them, they are having the dry climate over the year, throughout the year. You can see the rainfall are super low, lower than 50 mm. However, for polar climate, it's very cold as well. However, for the arid climate, it could be near 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, so for polar climate and mountain climate, I just have mentioned, both of them are very cold. However, in the polar climate, it's even colder in the winter time. But the mountain climate, you can see in summertime in Lhasa, they have some months they have over 100 mm rainfall. That means they are not as dry as the polar climate. So let's do some exercise, okay, to identify different climatic zone. For city 1, could you guess what is this climatic zone? Okay, looking at its rainfall and also the temperature. So actually, okay, I think you can guess it. It's about the tropical climate because it's hot and wet throughout the year. So it's actually in the Kuala Lumpur, okay, in here. And for city 2, okay, give you another few seconds to guess what is the climate. So from here you can see actually the rainfall is very low, very low, okay. So that means the whole year you can see some months they don't even have rainfall. So it's an arid climate, okay, dry for the whole year. So this is the Cairo, okay. Cairo is the capital of Egypt in here. So what about this? What about this? Okay, this is the temperature and this is the rainfall. So here you can see at the summertime, in the summertime, this city, they got in summertime, okay, they got dry, it's very dry in summertime, and the temperature is high, so hot summer, dry summer. But for winter time, they got a mild rainfall, okay, not very high rainfall, but mild one, okay. So this is what we know as the Mediterranean climate. This is the case example in Rome, Roma, in Italy. So finally, for this city 4, so could you guess? Okay, give you a few seconds to think. Actually, it is the temperate climate, okay. So temperate climate means they have a cold winter, okay. You can see the winter time, so it's around like about 5 degree to 10, okay, 10 something degree. But in the summertime they are not having a very hot summer but a mild summer, so around 26 to 27 degrees Celsius. So this is the example in Tokyo, Dongeng. So I think most of you have been to these places before in Japan for traveling. Okay, so we have gone through all the 4 cities that we have mentioned. So now let's do a quick revision. For both chapter 2.1 that we mentioned in last lesson and chapter 2.2 in this lesson. Okay. Oh, sorry. Not this lesson is also chapter 2.1. Okay, the whole chapter 2.1. So let's do a quick revision on page 11. So please fill in the blanks on your book if you don't have it. So go through the go check the e-class or Google Classroom. Okay, so let's do it together. Temperature pattern. Okay, you know that the global temperature pattern actually. Let me put the laser. So we are having a decreasing temperature with an increasing latitude, and for the rainfall we got some wet regions and dry regions. For the wet regions, that means the annual rainfall is over 2,000 mm. For the dry regions, that means the annual rainfall is over 250 mm. And for some regions, they have a seasonal difference in rainfall. That means some seasons may have a higher rainfall and some will have lower. And we have mentioned 6 different and major climatic zones in the world, that including the tropical climate, temperate climate, arid, polar, Mediterranean climate, and also the mountain climate. Okay, so that's it for oops, let me close it and open it again. So that's it for here. So in this lesson we mentioned these 2 lessons we mentioned about the global climate pattern. So we have different rainfall and different temperature in the world. And in next lesson, okay, we will talk about the changing climate in our global. Okay, so see you next lesson. And after today's lesson, you are able to finish your supplementary exercise. Okay, so you could check out the Google Classroom or the e-class to learn more about it. And you should be able to finish the supplementary exercise 2. Okay, that is from page 2 to... Okay, so the supplementary exercise, I forgot the page number on yours, but it's the supplementary exercise number 2. So I will upload it onto the Google Classroom and e-class. Okay, basically from e-class. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can email me. Thanks.